Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the iBUG Mac training program for Tuesday, March 2nd, 2020. I'm sorry, 2021. Oh dear, where's my mind? We only have a few more sessions left. Two more class sessions after this, and then Mac and Talk on the 23rd. So it's going by very quickly. Just before we get started, a few iBug things. We have a pretty quiet week, but don't forget about our Apple Watch raffle. If you donate $10, you enter a drawing to win an Apple Watch 6, the latest and greatest. And if you pay $50, then you get 6 tickets. So you triple and more than triple your chances of winning. So we have that going on, and the winner will be announced in May. And this week on Thursday, we have Trekkie Talk from 8 to 9 p.m. We're watching episodes 24 and 25 of The Next Generation Season 3 and the first episode of Season 4. And then we also have the movie night Friday, beginning at 7:30 with The Social, and the movie at 8. And I was trying to remember the name of I think I remembered. It's the Grand Budapest Hotel. Sonia can correct me if I'm wrong, but we had quite an interesting conversation about that last night. And so I hope you enjoy. All right, so I think we'll go ahead, and I did pick out a few questions for Safari, but our topic tonight is TextEdit. And so we'll go into that, but first we'll do a little bit of a review of Safari. So, what in Safari, what are the methods of using the rotor?
This is Nancy.
Yeah, Nancy.
So you can use VO and the letter U, and that brings up headings, links, and web spots and landmarks, that
Yep.
sort of thing. And then when you find what you want, you VO space twice on it to open the link or heading. You can use quick nav and single key navigation, like for headings and links. And let's see.
Yep.
I think those are the only two I can think of.
Yeah, we also talked about the trackpad briefly.
Oh, right. Well,
Just like you cannot, and yeah, and you don't know, you don't always have to press VO space. You can just press enter, and it really depends on. You can press enter once to move to the item, but if it's a button or a link, then you would press enter again to activate it. If it's just a heading, then you're kind of already there. So it just depends on what you're doing, and if you feel more comfortable pressing VO space or enter twice, by all means do so, but you don't need to. So, how do you move forward and backward through choices in the quick nav rotor? And then how do you move by the selected choice once you find the one you want?
This is Rita.
Yeah, Rita.
Okay, quick nav is on. Then you do the up and right arrow key
Yep.
for to advance forward an element, and up and left arrow to advance to the other backward an element, and then to navigate. Like say you've chosen headings, then you just hit the down arrow to navigate within those headings. And when quick nav is on, you can also use the numbers, right? The 1 through 6 for heading level.
Yes. That's also that's part of the quick website keys. But yes, you can use the arrow keys, like you were talking about, or the first letters, like you and Nancy were talking about. Speaking of the the quick nav keys, can anyone, or all of you, whatever you, maybe you know this, next, like the heading and link, and just name out some of the common letters that you would use and what they're for.
Oh, this is Rosanna.
Yeah, Rosanna.
H for headings.
Mm-hmm.
There is a L for links.
Yep.
And there was trying to remember what the other one was. Links, headings. Oh, the frames. but I don't know how you would use or why you would
Yeah,
use
so there was F for, well, let's see,
free
there was form fields, and you
fields.
can you can press shift to move to the previous one. So you can either press the letter to move to the next one or shift to move to the shift and the letter to move to the previous one.
Wasn't it shift? Oh, it was command shift. Wasn't it command shift L or something to go backwards? If you had to go to the previous?
Yeah, so shift L would take you to the previous link.
That's what it was.
Just
Okay.
shift. If you were using the, well, actually, I do have a question about that. So, upcoming. Yeah. So, does anybody else think of any shortcut keys?
This is Nancy.
Yeah, Nancy.
B for button and C for check.
Yep.
box.
Yeah. And T for table. Very good. All right. So this is kind of getting at what Rosanna was maybe talking about. If you prefer not to use Quick Nav, what modifier do you press in combination with VO keys and letters for navigating with voiceover commands?
I'll go if nobody, it's Rita. If
Sure.
nobody, it's the command, right? VO
Yes.
command.
The command
VO
key. Yep.
L. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Yep. You're very good. No, VO command
I'm
H.
shaky. I'm shaky, but I'm trying.
No, you're great. All of you are, that it's okay to get things wrong, and it's okay, maybe there are better ways that I could word these questions, but we're all here learning together. So yeah, VO command, H for heading, L for link. I think, oh no, B does bold text. So they're far more limited. So you can use those, but they don't have, there's many more first letters that you can use as opposed to holding down VO and the command keys. So that's why people.
This is Rosanna.
Yeah.
Was there also, if I remember, you could use the letter V for visited?
Yes. Yep.
Was that one of them?
Yeah. So if you have Quick Nav on, you can use just V. If you're using the voiceover commands, you would press VO command. Excuse me. Oh, I always get the hiccups around this time. You can always press VO command V. So with Quick Nav on, V by itself, or if you prefer to have Quick Nav off, VO command V. They're the same thing.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Thanks.
All right, and I think Nancy already answered this question. What is the command to bring up the web rotor, and how do you navigate among web rotor items? Actually, so she answered, when you find a heading, button, link, whatever in the web rotor, how do you move your cursor to that item? So yeah, just pressing enter VO space, you find, so you move between the different categories with the left and right arrow, and then once you find the category you want, you down arrow or up arrow, or first use first letter navigation to find what you want, and then press VO space or enter, whatever, once to move to the object and twice to activate it. All right.
This is Marion.
Yeah,
Hi,
Marion.
I was trying to ask before and I didn't realize I was muted.
Oh, I hate when that happens. Oh my goodness.
Excuse me. And
I know.
I'm muted.
Yes.
So I'm sorry, but with Quick Nav, other than filling in text boxes, is there any other reason why it might be inconvenient to use Quick Nav, or do most people use it because the only time it's really awkward is filling in text boxes?
Well, I can tell you from my experience, and then maybe other people can contribute. I sometimes might want it off if I want to read articles line by line, just with just the up and down arrow keys. But usually that doesn't happen too often, so there really isn't any need to really. Yeah, most of the time you can get by with it on. Does anybody else have any thoughts about that? Herbie or Nancy or Sandhya or Rita or anybody?
This is Nancy.
Yeah, Nancy.
The only place I use the Quick Nav, I know some people use it in a lot of places, but I only use it in Safari.
Right. Me
Just
too.
because then
Yeah,
I
me
don't want to,
too.
I don't like to try and remember. I think I had it on by accident one day, and then I could not move line by line through an email, and I'm like, what is wrong with this? And then, oh yeah, I have quick
Yeah.
nav on. So
Herbie,
Yes.
happened to me actually.
Yep, I know. Yep. Okay, Herbie, go ahead.
So there are actually two places I will use QuickNav. Sometimes in Safari and also in the preview app because it is then I can read a PDF, not having to have both hands on the keyboard. So
Mm.
And if I can understand, I think Marion, you were asking like why you wouldn't want to use it in Safari. So Herbie, then why do you in what instances do you use it in Safari and what instances do you not use it in Safari?
I use it a lot more when I want to do quick key navigation.
Okay, right.
Because sometimes not all the quick key buttons work if you're using the regular methods. Also, I can sometimes it's also quicker to read text in a lot larger chunks depending on what it is. But so those are the circumstances. But so yeah, I'll use QuickNav though, like especially like for a site where like Metrolift where I'm booking rides all the time, and I'm using a lot of quick buttons there. I'll definitely use QuickNav in that situation. But say if I just am navigating by heading, I might just use the normal VO keys then, if that makes sense.
So in other words, it
It's
kind of
just a matter of
depends
also
on
I'm
how
feeling.
many tasks or what tasks you want to accomplish and
Yeah.
like if you're in like if I'm just in an email rather than turning and I know that email's organized by headings, rather than turning the quick nav on, I might just press VO command H just so I don't forget to turn quick nav back off. But if I'm in a website and I know I'm going to need to get to headings and buttons and links, then I might just, leave it on. So
That's what I was thinking. If you're surfing around a lot on
yeah.
Safari, you'd
Yep.
leave it on. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. What
this is
are
Nancy.
Oh, go ahead,
Teresa,
Nancy.
one other thing, something that I think Rita brought this up too, but I was trying to fill out a form on the web,
Mm-hmm.
and I was trying to use the tab key,
Uh-huh.
and it jumps into the field, and I guess
Yep.
the advantage is then it turns off QuickNav. What it
Yes.
does not do though, is read the field that you're gonna
Exactly.
fill, what goes into that field. It's kind of stupid because you then have to use the VO left arrow to go back and figure out what you're putting in the field.
And you're addressing a lot of the questions I ask because, I've asked a couple questions in this. How do you find out what information is needed if it's not read as you tab? And what is the disadvantage of using tabs? So, yes, that your experience goes precisely to those questions. And that's where if you prefer to have quick nav off, you can use VO command J. That moves to the next control. And I'm sure it just depends too on how well the form is labeled. Some forms, if you press tab, it'll read appropriately, and some forms it won't. It just really depends. That's why you have to know a lot of different techniques to get around accessibility challenges.
This is Rosanna.
Yeah.
Chanel, when you talked about the forms in the last class about doing autofill,
Uh-huh.
what does it autofill like your name, your address, like those fields automatically? Like how do you know which ones have been autofilled and which ones you need to go back to?
You kind of have to tab or VO arrow or VO command J or
Okay.
whatever F through there to see what has been entered. But in general, yes, it will. Anything you check, and that's why we visited the Safari preferences in the first lesson.
Right.
We talked about autofill, and so anything you check in there, and anything that you may have in your contact card that is appropriate to the form, it will put in.
Okay, great.
Yep.
Awesome. I wasn't sure. Like, I gotta ask her how exactly that works.
Yep. All right. Yeah, it's good to review this stuff kind of together, and one thing sinks in or one thing makes another thing clear. So, all right, just for a general review, what are the 3 methods of activating links?
This is Marion.
Yeah, Marion.
I'm gonna take a stab at it.
Sure, go ahead.
So I think enter
Uh-huh.
and a double tap on the touchpad
Mm-hmm.
and maybe VO spacebar.
Excellent. Excellent. Can anybody think of the quick nav way?
VO command.
This Rita.
VO
Yeah, Rita.
command.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I
okay.
might not have it right. I was thinking it was VO command spacebar, but I could be wrong.
All right, Rita, go ahead.
Oh, when quick nav is on, it's the up and down arrow case,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Oh,
Okay.
right. Okay.
So, but VO spacebar, like Marion said, still works, and you can even use that when quick nav is on. And yeah, technically there's 4. Marion brought up the trackpad way, which I didn't even think of. So great. So yeah, there's that. So when quick nav is on, the up and down arrows, that'll activate a button, a link, checkbox, whatever. Enter. Or VO space, or one finger double tap on the trackpad. All right. This is important. How do you bring up the context menu for an item? And not just in Safari, but anywhere on your Mac.
Ooh.
If a sighted person, Jason, go ahead.
Sorry, there's the Command Shift M. I mean, VO.
VO Shift M?
Yeah, VO Shift
Yeah,
M. So.
excellent. Yep.
Oh, that's the right button on a
Yep,
mouse, right?
that's,
okay.
yep.
VO
Yeah.
shift down. Okay.
Yep. So get to know that one.
VO Command Space. I forget, what's that called again?
What is that called, Herbie? Voiceover Actions?
Actions menu.
Yeah.
The actions
all
rotor,
the
yeah.
time.
The actions
Okay.
voiceover
No,
actions.
those kind of are similar, but
Yeah, they are. I know in Big Sur they're making more use of that. So sometimes if one doesn't work, then you have to try the other. So, yeah. So what is the
Nancy, could you clarify that?
Sure.
Sorry.
Um,
When you were saying you can use one or the other, so it's VO command space, or what's the other option?
VO Shift M. VO Shift
I
M
see. Okay.
has always been the default, but it seems like more in Big Sur, the apps and the notifications want you to use the VO command space.
Oh.
Yep. Oh, does that make sense?
Okay, thank you.
All right. All right. Well, I should probably get on to TextEdit. So I am going to mute and share my audio and we will get started. TextEdit is the Mac's default word processor. And notice I say word processor because it can actually, let's see. Computer audio. There we go.
You have started.
There we go. I'm okay. So TextEdit can work with not only just text documents, so the name is really a misnomer, but its default file type is actually RTF, or what's called rich text. And Word documents, so .doc and docs are also considered rich text. And rich text as opposed to plain text, rich text can include things like different font styles, links, headings, whatever. And plain text is, well, just simply plain. If you do any formatting, you kind of have to do tabs or spaces or whatever. So TextEdit is the Mac's default word processor. And in my opinion, it is better to use TextEdit over Pages or Words when you're first starting out. If you're just trying to get the hang of the Mac and VoiceOver, TextEdit is a great app to allow you to master the essentials of text navigation and text selection. Once you are able to do those things successfully, then Pages and Word are definitely accessible. They just require a bit more VO navigation, but they are accessible. Another big reason I recommend TextEdit is that Most of the writing projects you'll need to do probably don't need to be that fancy. I know as a student, I constantly had a need for pages and Word and things like that so I could apply different citation styles, headers, footers, all that stuff that Herbie's still dealing with. But now I use TextEdit, well, for note taking. The Notes app also works for that, but I prefer TextEdit. Or for writing sets of instructions. Sometimes I'm writing to somebody, giving instructions on, how to do something. I do like one thing that TextEdit is not good for is using heading styles. It does not have built-in styles. I like to, for example, with my syllabus, have the information organized into different headings. And so Word might be the best for that. But even so, you could write most of your document in TextEdit and then pretty it up in Pages or Word. TextEdit also cannot give you a word count, but you can select all your text, copy it into Word or Pages, and get the word count that way, or use some really fancy Apple script that I have not bothered to even figure out how to configure. All right. You probably, or you may not have used TextEdit because files don't seem to open in it by default. The only file type that really opens in TextEdit by default is RTF. But most people will probably receive doc and docs and pages, and those all open in, well, Word or Pages. And so some of my students aren't aware of the fact that they can even use TextEdit because all their files open in these other programs. And then they're not only having to deal with the complex screen layout, but getting accustomed to text movement and selection on the Mac. So the first thing we're going to do, and this could have been part of the Finder lesson as well, but we're going to set certain files to open in TextEdit. To do that, I'm going to move to my
Stop
Finder.
share. Finder. Desktop.
And
Bootcamp.
if
Volume.
Herbie,
Actions
or
available.
hopefully you can hear the audio. I think I did it right. Okay, I'm going to I have a Mac training alias. I'm going to do MA.
Mac training alias.
Commando.
Open. Mac training window. Column view. Browser.
And I have really been trying to get to know column view. I've never given it a fair shot, so I thought now is a great time. One thing that's confusing in column view for anybody else who might want to try it is you may think you're opening a particular folder. Maybe you have an alias or whatever on your desktop. Well, sometimes if you're using some sort of a shortcut to open a folder, you'll need to press right arrow to actually open that folder's contents.
Attendance. Folder.
And now it's opened and showed me the first folder in the Mac training. And so I'm going to now type TE
TextEdit
for
demonstration.
TextEdit
Folder.
and right arrow.
List one item selected.
And
Mac basics for the beginning user doc.
Okay, Mac basics for the beginning user. This is an old book from National Braille Press several years ago. You could use the same process if, for example, Herbie likes to listen to music in a player called VLC rather than the default music app. And so what we're doing here is something you could do for, I don't know, spreadsheets, music, slides. The process could apply to multiple things. To bring up the file information dialog, I'm going to use Command I. We could also have done the VO Shift M on the item and gone down to Info or gone into the File menu. But since I know what the shortcut is, I'll just press it, Command I.
Get info. Mac basics for the beginning user doc info window. Mac basics for the beginning user doc image. Mac basics for the beginning.
And this first few things, it's going to give us the file name, all the date modified, created stuff. I just kind of want to give you an overview. And then the next file we change, I'll show you one way to jump directly to what we need. But
200 kilobytes.
All right, so this is all the
September
size.
7th, 2018 at 02:31. Modified. Tag editor add tags. Edit text.
You could create your own tags here.
General expanded Microsoft Word 97 2004 document. Kind 200,192 bytes, 201 kilobytes on
More
disk.
info
Size.
about the
Macintosh
size.
HD right pointing small triangle users right pointing small triangle Chanel right pointing
If
small.
we let that keep going, it would spell out the
Where?
exact location of the file. So that's one way to find it, is going into the info.
September 7th, 2018 at 02:31. Created September 7th, 2018 at 02:31. Modified stationary pad unchecked checkbox.
Stationary pad makes it so that you can kind of create a template or use a file as a template. That is what I've been told. I have not played with that myself.
Locked unchecked checkbox.
You could lock the file and put a password on it.
More info expanded disclosure triangle authors. Chanel app name and extension expanded disclosure triangle. Mac basics for the beginning user doc. Content selected edit.
If you really notice it said context selected, edit, and I kind of cut it off, but you could put in a new name here. It's easier probably to give something a new name or rename it just by pressing enter on it. And that's why I say do that carefully, because we may be used to enter opening things, but enter when it comes to files is does rename.
Hide extension unchecked checkbox. Comments collapsed disk open with expanded disk text edit tab default.
Okay,
Pop-up button.
I forgot to set this back to pages. I knew I was forgetting something so that I could set it to TextEdit.
Menu
But
check
let's
mark.
just say we have the menu here. I press space to go into the menu.
Microsoft Word pages app.
So let's say it was
Pages app.
pages, and so then I could go into the menu, press
Menu
space,
check mark other ellipse app store ellipse Microsoft text
and up or
edit app
down arrow.
default.
So we want to go to TextEdit.
Text edit
Yours
app.
may say pages default or Word
Pop-up
default. I had already changed mine. If you want the change to only apply to this file, then you would be done. If you want it to apply to all .docs, or well, all .doc, because that's what the file type is, there's one more step.
Use this application to open all documents like this one. Change all button.
All right, so if I VO space,
Cancel button. Are you sure you want to change all similar documents to open with the application text edit app? This change will apply to all documents with extension .doc.
all right, and then I can VO right.
Continue button
Oh.
default.
All right, I accidentally did it one more than I needed to, so VO space, or
Mac
enter.
basics for the beginning user doc info window. Change
And there we go. We can close with Command W.
close window.
So if you, like I've said, the same process works for an MP3. Let's say you get VLC and you want that to open in VLC instead of iTunes, or I'm sorry, the music app, then you would follow a similar process. Or
Text edit demonstration window. Mac basics for the beginning
another
user doc.
option
Microsoft Word 97 2004 documents.
is to actually VO Shift M
Menu.
on the
Mac
file,
basics for
like
the
we
beginning
talked
user
about.
docs. Office Open XML Word
And
process.
then you could go down to Open With,
Open with submenu. Open with submenu. Text edit app default.
and TextEdit is set as the default because I forgot to change it.
Other ellipsis.
But you could choose an app, then that would just apply to this
App Store
file.
ellipsis.
So
Mac
if you want to
basics
open
for
it
the
in a
begin-
different, if you want to open a file in a different
Office
app,
Open X.
VO Shift M, down arrow to open with, VO space or right arrow or whatever, and then go to the app that you wish to use. Okay, let's say we do want to change this docs.
Get info. Mac basics for the
So the quick way, at least I've found,
Mac
to
basics.
jump to what we want is just to type open with in the VoiceOver Find. I think I demoed VoiceOver Find in Safari, and that is different from like the Command F. VoiceOver Find searches menus, buttons, anything. Command F is only going to look for text, whether you're in TextEdit, Word, Safari, but VoiceOver or VOF, you can, type in the text name of a link or a button and that will be found. So anyway, I'm going to type in open with, or
enter search text.
here we go.
Pre-
Open
open.
with, and then press enter.
Open with.
Okay, and then VO right,
Text edit app default. Pop-up button.
which is already set, and then we could go through the same process, going into the menu, choosing an app, and then setting it as the default. But we don't need to do that since we just did, so I'm going to Command W.
Close window. Text edit demonstration window.
And now we're going to go into
Close window.
TextEdit itself. My text edit is in the doc, but yours probably, I had to add it to the doc. So you will either need to create a keyboard command in the keyboard commander or add it to the doc. So I'm going to go to the applications folder with Command Shift A.
Applications. Applications. Window. Column view. Browser 1 item selected. Applications. Group.
And I have made the mistake, again, several times. I just automatically started typing TEX for text edit. Well, that kind of didn't work because I was not in the applications folder. Because the applications folder is in my user folder and not by itself, I have to do right arrow
List 1 item
to
select.
expand it. Now, this is only applicable for column
Utilities.
view.
Folder.
If you have
Utilities.
everything set to
Folder.
list view, then Command Shift A would automatically open that applications folder. But in column view, sometimes we have one additional step of pressing right arrow. Now I'm going to type
Team text
TEX.
edit app. Application.
And if I wanted to add it to my doc, it already is there, but I could do Command Control Shift T.
Add to doc.
So I don't know if I'll have a duplicate, but if I do, I can remove it. I think we talked about the add and remove apps to the doc process before. And so now I can just Command O to open.
Text edit. Open. Window. Column view. Browser.
All right, the first thing we have in TextEdit or Pages or any sort of productivity application that opens is the File Open dialog. And it's going to show you the location that you saved to last. For now, we're not going to worry about that dialog, so we're just going to press Command N for new. Command N for a new document or file.
New. Untitled. Window. Edit text.
Nancy and I were talking earlier about the new Command N for a quick event in the calendar or in mail and messages. Command N is the same as going to compose. In TextEdit, Pages, whatever, it's a new document. In the Finder, it's a new window. And so it has lots of uses. So that's a really important command to remember. Okay. We are going to now go into TextEdit Preferences so I can show you some settings that are applied by default to new documents. And as always, we'll go into Preferences with Command, comma.
Preferences. Preferences. Window. New document. Selected. Tab. 1 of 2.
Okay. In most of the apps we have explored, the preference categories are in a toolbar. Here they're just tabs kind of by themselves.
Open and save. Tab. 2 of 2.
So we're really concerned with
New document. Selected. Tab. 1.
new document. That's the main thing to be focused on. Okay.
Open and save format. Use the format menu to choose settings for an open document.
All right. So it's basically telling us use the format menu to change settings for an open document. Or we can use the edit menu to change other settings. But this is actually setting things, it's kind of like creating, what we're doing now is kind of like creating a template for all new documents.
Rich text. Selected. Radio button. 1 of 2.
Okay, I was waiting to see if it would give help text. In TextEdit, you actually have two choices. You can have a rich text file or plain text. And this really confused me the first time when I was for several times I was working in TextEdit. I wanted to save as plain text, but when I went into the save dialog, I was not finding any TXT option, or adding TXT would still put an RTF on the end. And so what I learned was that for some reason with TextEdit, you have to specify whether the document is plain or rich text. And so here we're saying, do we want new documents by default to be rich text or plain text? But if you change your mind in the course of writing a document, there's an easy way to change back and forth in the format menu. So for now we
Use
have
the rich text. Selected. Radio
rich
button.
text
1 of
selected.
2.
And remember, that's the one with links and font attributes and so forth,
Plain text. Radio button. 2 of 2.
which is just plain.
Wrap to page. Unchecked. Checkbox. Select to make text wrap to document margins rather than window boundaries.
Okay, I would check this box. Before I exited TextEdit, I made sure that the settings were set back to default. So this is one of those things I check because I know margins are kind of important.
Checked. Window size. 96. Content selected with edit text.
I don't know what this has to do. I don't really use these
Characters.
options.
30. Contents lines. Font. Change button.
Okay, so we can change the default font for plain text and rich text documents. I'm going to show you how to change the font in an actual document. The process is the same in either place. So really, when you see the font dialog here, it'll be the same as in when we actually change it in the document.
Menlo regular 11. Plain text font. Change button. Helvetica 12. Rich text font. Properties. Document properties are saved only with rich text files. Choose File, Show Properties to change the properties for an open document.
I think properties are the author. I don't know what other properties.
Author, edit text.
Well,
Organization, edit text.
okay, author, organization.
Copyright, edit text. Options. Check spelling as you type. Checked. Checkbox.
Okay.
Choose Edit, Spelling and Grammar to change this option for individual documents.
Just like it said, we can go into Edit, Spelling and Grammar to change this option for individual documents. All right.
Smart Copy Paste, checked. Checkbox. Choose Edit Substitute.
And it's just going to give us, I don't know what Smart Copy Paste is. Maybe that's selecting a whole paragraph or automatically applying formatting. I'm not quite sure.
Check Grammar with Spelling, unchecked. Checkbox. Choose Edit, Spelling and Grammar.
Okay, anyway, I sometimes like to check this box. Sometimes you have to take the grammar stuff with a grain of salt because it's not always accurate, but I still check it.
Checked.
And use at my own risk.
Smart Quotes, unchecked. Checkbox. Correct spelling automatically, unchecked. Checkbox.
All right, I
Choose
leave
Edit.
correct spelling automatically unchecked. I do the typos that I make or the errors that I make are typos, and I think I'd rather correct those myself than be embarrassed by autocorrect. I just like to have control, so I prefer autocorrect off. But you can definitely use it with VoiceOver.
Smart Dashes, unchecked. Checkbox. Show Ruler, checked. Checkbox.
Show Ruler.
Applies
This is
to-
a visual aid for aligning text. I have used it. You can, like, there's a setting in the ruler, first line, and then I've been able to choose maybe half an inch or whatever, but you can accidentally set it for more or less than you want if you haven't uninteracted properly. And so most of the time, unless I really need it, I prefer to have the ruler off in new
Smart
documents.
Show Ruler, checked. Checkbox.
And so it's checked by default.
Applies
This
to
is
rich
one of
text
those
documents.
things I would
Use Command
uncheck.
R, unchecked.
Another thing that only applies to rich text documents.
Smart Links, unchecked. Checkbox. Choose Edit Substitutions to change this option for individual documents.
I think Smart Links, they actually create links out of web addresses that you enter. So I'll check this box.
Checked. Data Detectors, unchecked. Checkbox.
Don't know what that is.
Text Replacement, checked. Checkbox. Smart Quotes and Dashes in rich text documents only, checked. Checkbox.
All right. I've always turned
Takes
smart
effect for new-
quotes and dashes off as a Bookshare proofreader, and I don't know, they can kind of look interesting in Braille sometimes, so I uncheck this box.
Unchecked. Restore all defaults button.
And there we go. And
Restore all
basically, the only thing in Open deals with add the T that is really important is add TXT extension when saving text files. I make sure that's checked. But other than that, it's just a lot of encoding stuff that 99.99% of people don't really need to worry about. So to close this preferences window, we will do Command W.
Close. Untitled window. Edit text.
And now I am going to show you how to open a file via the Open Recents. I have demonstrated opening files from the Finder, and the process of opening a file is very much like that of saving a file, so I don't really feel like we need to go through that. But I'll show you the Open Recents
Menu bar,
in the
Apple.
File menu.
Text edit. File. File menu. New command. N. Open ellipsis command. O. Open recent. Submenu.
Right arrow to expand.
Open recent. Submenu. Text edit demonstration RTF.
Okay, this is good. This is the first one we want. It is in here because I have opened it recently.
Text edit demonstration RTF. Text edit demonstration RTF. Window. Edit text insertion at beginning.
All right, and VoiceOver wants to it does not like to honor when I press Control. And so it was going to start reading to us. Now we're going to talk about navigating the text. So the beginning, end, beginning of the lines, and next line, and so forth.
Text edit.
Okay. To go to the very beginning
Text
of the
edit demo.
document, you press Command up arrow. It's like the equivalent of Control Home. You could also do VO Home, but it's when you're in TextEdit or Word or Pages, or even if you're reading text in Safari, Command up arrow takes you to the beginning of the text. If you want to read, and we might as well, to read the current line we're on, we can do VOL.
Text edit demonstration.
I know that kind of skips around a little bit, but okay, to move to the end of text or the very bottom of the file, we do Command down arrow and then VOL.
The end.
And if we, so I'm going to go back, if we want to move to the beginning of the line, it's Command left arrow. Oh, and I think it said the word the, but we can read the current word with VOW. We can have the phonetic spelling of the word if we press VOW again. No, I'm sorry. If we press VOW
Cap
twice,
T. Cap H. Cap E.
that gives us the spelling. If we press VOW again,
Cap Tango. Cap Hotel. Cap Echo.
that gives us the phonetic spelling. So once speaks the word, twice speaks the spelling, and 3 times speaks the phonetics. All right. And to go to the end of the line, we can press Command right
End.
arrow.
End.
And VOW again says the word end. Okay. To read the current character,
Cap D.
you can press VOC,
Cap D.
and VOC again will give you the phonetics.
Cap Delta.
Okay, let's go back to the top.
Text edit.
So we can move by character with just right or left arrow. So right arrow moves forward.
Cap T.
And VoiceOver speaks the text the cursor passes in either direction. So when we press right arrow, our cursor is between the T and the E. But if you press left arrow,
Cap T.
it says T again. And that's because you're in front of the T. So in Windows, the screen reader speaks the text to the right of the caret, but here VoiceOver actually speaks the text the cursor passes. It is like editing on the iPhone, and believe me, when you're transitioning from system to system, it can get confusing, but it is the same from Mac to iOS. Okay, so if I press right arrow,
Cap T.
and again,
E.
so now I'm to the right of E. If I press left arrow,
E.
I'm to the left of E. So you kind of have to pay attention to what you are pressing. Option right arrow moves by word, or if I press Option right arrow now, it'll read the rest of the word text edit.
Text edit.
But if I press it again,
Demonstration.
it reads the whole word. You can move. It's great to be able to select a paragraph with Option Shift down arrow or Option Shift up arrow, but Option down or up doesn't exactly move to the next and previous paragraph. There are VoiceOver commands for that. So, of course, down arrow moves to the
This
next
is the
line.
first sentence of the first paragraph.
Up arrow moves
Text
to
edit
the
demonstration.
previous line. And so we talked about line, VOL, word, VOW, character, VOC. Let me actually move down.
This is the first sentence of
And
the
now I'll
first
do
paragraph.
Command left arrow. Not that it matters, but VOS reads the sentence.
This is the first sentence of the first paragraph.
And this document is taken from a demo that David Woodbridge did several years ago, which unfortunately is not still up on Applevis, because I think he gives an excellent demonstration of how to go through and move through text and select. Okay, VOP reads the current paragraph.
This is the first sentence of the first paragraph. This is the second sentence of the first paragraph. This is the last sentence of the first paragraph.
All right. Now, one thing I always remember this once we get to navigating to the next sentence or paragraph. Most of the time in TextEdit or any application where you edit text, you will want to interact with the text. We could have immediately started typing here, and that would have been fine. But to make sure that our insertion point is where we want it to be, and that the voiceover commands actually take. So far they have, but sometimes they don't. We need to interact. So to do that, that's VO Shift down
In
arrow.
edit text. This is the first.
Again, just like we interact to examine items in a toolbar or a table, sometimes we are interacting to examine and edit the text. So interacting is just a way to examine something. That's probably the simplest definition. Okay, so now we can move to the next sentence with VO command page down. I honestly don't use these commands unless I'm teaching.
This is the second sentence of the first paragraph.
And so then what happens is VoiceOver has, you'd think it would put us at the end of that second, the sentence. But if we do option right,
This is the second.
we were in front of that sentence. VO command up goes to the
This
previous
is the first sentence of the first paragraph.
VO and then VO shift page up and down, move to the previous and next paragraph. So if I do VO shift page down.
This is the first sentence of the second paragraph. This is the middle sentence of the second paragraph.
And for those of you using the Mac laptop keyboard, you would do FN, VO, shift, and down arrow, or FN, VO, command, and down arrow or up arrow. All right, so that is moving through here. Let's now select some text. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but hopefully
TextEdit.
not. I'm at the top. So when you want to select text, you just add shift to the word and line movement commands. It doesn't work to select by sentence, or at least there's not a way that I know of. Select all is Command A. If you want to select from your current position to the end of the line, it's Command Shift End. I'm sorry, not end. Command Shift right arrow.
Text edit demonstration. Selected.
If you press an arrow key,
Text edit
that clears the selection. You can also
Unselected.
select, we could also go to the end of the
Demonstration.
line and then do Command Shift left arrow, and that would select from our cursor position to the beginning
Text
of the
edit
line.
demonstration. Selected.
Okay, that's
Text.
fine.
This is the
So
first sentence.
if we wanted to select by word, I'm at the beginning of the paragraph, so I would do Option Shift right arrow.
This is the first sentence. Selected.
Or let's say I decided, oh, I actually want to select the rest of this paragraph. I don't really need to select by word, so then I could just press Option Shift down
Of the
arrow.
first paragraph. This is the second sentence of the first paragraph. This is the last sentence of the first paragraph. Selected.
And then it selects the paragraph. Okay, we can copy with Command C. In Finder, you use the Move To command, but in TextEdit, the Cut command actually works. So that's Command X. We'll just copy this with Command
Copy.
C. And then we could paste with Command V, either at a different position in the file or go to our new document, which we can get to the new document because it's another window or document open in TextEdit. We use Command Accent
Untitled window. Edit text.
and then paste, so Command
New
V.
line.
All right, and it pasted
Last sentence of the first paragraph.
the
New line.
line after as well. All right, now I'm going to return to the
Text edit
document.
demonstration RTF window. Edit text.
And this
This
time,
is the first
we are going to talk about the font
unselected
dialog.
text edit.
So I do actually want to select all with Command A.
Text edit demonstration.
And to bring up the fonts, I'm going to show you the
Selected.
menu in just a bit. But to bring up the fonts, we can use the keyboard shortcut Command T.
Show fonts. Fonts window. Add button.
All right, so we're on, we could add a font
Remove
category.
button. Family. Typeface.
It's reading a bunch of these labels first before we actually get to the pop-up menus.
Size. Collection list table. Row 1 of 10.
Or
All
list.
fonts. Selected.
So you have all fonts, English, modern. There's some different categories here, but generally we don't need to go into that.
Family list table. Family list.
list. Okay. The first time I ever heard of Helvetica was with the Mac. So TextEdit does include fonts that you might be more familiar with. Arial, Times, Times New Roman. And what's great is I can just press TI
Turbo Times.
and then down arrow
Times New Roman.
to Times New Roman. one thing that is really annoying in Word and Pages is for some reason, you cannot use first letter navigation in the font tables there. You have to press down arrow forever. I think you can save some favorite fonts, but that's one slight accessibility annoyance in Word and Pages for Mac. All right, let's go on to our next category with VO Write.
Typeface list, table, row 1 of 4. Regular, selected.
And you have your traditional choices,
Typeface
regular.
list, italic, bold, bold italic,
I'm going to up arrow back to regular.
bold italic, regular.
And VO Write.
12. Content selected, edit text.
Let's say we wanted to make this 14, so I could just immediately type in here 14.
Selection replaced, 14.
There's a couple other ways to choose a font size.
Size list, table, row 6 of 15.
You
14.
can go into
Selected.
this table and choose
Size
one.
list,
I think they're going to have, I don't think they'll have all fonts, but they'd have 10, 12, 14, 16, or
14%. Vertical slider,
VO right arrowing again takes us to the vertical slider, and you can increase it, interact, and then VO up arrow or VO down to decrease and increase, whatever. Okay.
14%.
And we're at the end of this. So we used Command T to show the fonts dialog. We'll use Command T to close it.
Hide fonts. Text edit demonstration RTF window.
Okay,
edit,
and now
text edit.
if we do VOT gives the attributes. VoiceOver will say what the attributes are.
14 point times New Roman, align left.
Okay, another thing we can do is use VoiceOver Verbosity. This is something I talked about in, the second or third lesson, as in the VoiceOver utility, but we can get to a more condensed form of those options by pressing VOV. It works very much like the speech attributes rotor. So this is the verbosity rotor. There's a million rotors in VoiceOver. So if we do VOV,
Adjust punctuation, none.
all right, yours may be on something differently. So I'm going to up arrow to get to
Some,
all.
all,
You basically up arrow or down arrow to find the choice you want. I've been through here enough, so I know it's up arrow to go towards more of something. If we right arrow then,
typing echo, words,
I prefer mine set on words. You can also have
characters and words.
characters and words.
Nothing.
Or nothing is at the
Character,
top.
words, characters.
Or characters is at the bottom.
Words.
I'll put it back to words, right arrow.
Text attributes, do nothing.
Text attributes. So that's the font, and we want that to speak. If I up arrow,
Play tone,
it can play a tone whenever they change.
speak.
All right, we'll leave it at speak, right arrow.
Numbers, words.
And we could just keep wrapping around.
Capitals, speak. When status changes, play speech verbosity level, medium. Punctuation, all.
And we're back at punctuation, but we didn't need to go around. If you were to press left arrow through here, it would do the same thing. So to get out of this menu, you can press enter or escape. It really doesn't matter.
Stop adjusting punctuation.
Okay, now what I want to do is select the first line so we can change the alignment and the font. So let's see, going to make sure I'm at the beginning of the line, and I'll do Command Shift right arrow.
One selected.
Oh,
Text edit demonstration. Text
all right,
edit.
hold on. I
Cap.
don't know why it did that. Okay, Command Shift right
One
arrow.
selected. Text edit demonstration. Selected.
Okay, this is where VOF6 enters the picture because we can verify what's selected.
Text edit demonstration. Selected.
Okay, and then to do things like bold, it's Command B.
Bold checked.
If you want to
Bold.
italicize, Command I.
Italic checked.
And it'll say check
Italic.
when it's on. If we want to align this, we could align it in the center with Command Shift \.
Center checked.
Or we
Align
could change
center.
our mind and do Command Shift right bracket
Align right checked.
to right align.
Align right.
And then if I do a read all or say all with VOA,
Text edit demonstration. Plain. New line. Align left. This is the first sentence.
okay, so it didn't read the line we were
This
on.
is
If
the
we do
second-
Command up arrow,
Bold italic. Align right. Text edit.
okay.
Bold italic. Align right. Text edit demonstration. Plain.
All right, and then we could even go through and maybe underline a few words, capitalize, whatever. If it's hard to remember those shortcuts, don't worry because we can find them in the menu bar. We will go into the format menu.
Menu bar.
So,
Apple.
I press VOM,
Text
right
edit,
arrow
file,
over to
edit.
format,
Format.
down arrow.
Format menu. Font submenu.
And here's the font. So here's where you can find the bold, the italic, underline, changing the font size,
Font submenu. Show fonts command T.
or I mean the show fonts.
Check mark bold command B. Check mark italic command I. Underline command U. Outline. Styles ellipsis.
TextEdit, like I said, does not have predefined styles. You have to create your own, which you can copy. There is an option to copy and paste style. So I need to experiment with that more because that might be a solution for getting my headings.
Bigger command plus.
Oh, that's right. You could, let's say we wanted to increase this font. So we could press enter on bigger
Bigger.
and
Bold italic. Text edit demonstration. Plain. New line.
so then if we did VOT,
Bold italic 14 point times New Roman. All plain. Bold italic.
Well-
Align right. Bold italic 14 point time.
okay, that didn't quite work the way we thought.
Menu
Okay,
bar.
all right, that's
Text
all right.
font edit.
So I'm going to go
Format.
back into
View.
format.
Format. Font. Submit. Check mark. Outline. Styles. Bigger command. Smaller command. Hyphen. Kern. Submenu. Literatures. Submenu. Baseline. Submenu. Character
you
shape.
have more of those
Submenu. Show
fancy
colors.
things.
Copy style command option. C. Paste style command. Show fonts command.
All right,
T.
we're back at the beginning. So now I am going to VO left to get out of
Format.
this
Menu.
menu.
Font. Submenu.
That way we don't lose our place in the menu, and then I'll VO down.
Text. Submenu.
All right, text is important. That deals with the alignment and making text plain or
Text.
rich text.
Submenu. Center command. Vertical line. Justify. Check mark. Align right command. Writing direction. Submenu. Show ruler command. R.
On the
Copy
ruler.
ruler command. Control C. Paste ruler command. Spacing ellipsis.
Spacing, so you can choose double spacing, single spacing, whatever.
Align left command. Left brace. Center command.
Oh, I thought this was where we found the make plain text or whatever. I guess not. Oops. See, I forget exactly what's in these menus, but I know how to
Format
find what
menu.
I'm looking
Text.
for.
Make plain text command Shift T.
Oh, it's outside of the menu. Okay.
Prevent editing. Wrap to window command Shift. Allow hyphenation. Make layout
And
vertical.
then you have a few other options there. Okay,
Edit text.
now I want to get to the difference between save and save as. So we've formatted this document a little bit. Oh, by the way, if you go into the edit menu and then into insert, you can insert things in the document like a page break, a paragraph break. Probably the one I would use would be a page break, but I think you can also press Command Enter for that. All right, let's talk about saving. So when you already have a document created, Command S will save your changes. If you've already created this document, so this is my TextEdit demonstration document. If I was to press Command S, it would save the changes that I made. If I go into my new document with Command
Untitled
accent
period. RTF. Window. Edit text.
and do Command S,
This is the first sentence of save ellipsis. In dialog. Save third.
it would bring up
Untitled period. RTF.
the file dialog to input a new name and choose a location and so forth. I'm not going to bother saving this one. I am going to go back
Edit text insert.
to the other
This is the first
document.
sentence.
And before I do that, though, I'm going to go into my Voiceover
Adjust punctuation.
Verbosity.
All.
What happens is the verbosity is not spoken merely inside the document. I wish it was that simple. But if it's on, VoiceOver will speak the font of menu items and things we really don't care about. I don't like when that happens, but all I can do is just toggle the text attribute speech. So I'm going to go over to text attributes.
Typing echo. Words. Text attributes. Speak.
And go back. Go down to
Play
nothing.
tone. Do nothing.
Enter. There we go.
Stop adjusting text.
And so now let's Command accent.
Text edit demonstration period. RTF. Window. Edit text insertion at beginning
Okay.
of text.
So there's a couple other save options. If we go into the File menu,
Menu bar.
VOM,
Apple. Text edit
and
file.
we go
edit,
into,
file.
oops, I'm sorry.
File. New command. Open reset. Close command. Save command. S.
That would just save the changes.
Duplicate command. Shift S.
One option is duplicate, and that is almost like pretty much like save. It just creates a duplicate copy. That could be useful if somebody gives you a document and you want your own copy before you go making changes. That could be useful because it won't even really allow you to enter a file name. It'll act like it is, but then the dialog closes, so it'll say whatever the file name is, followed by the word copy. And then you have to do Command S to choose a location and all that all over again. So the option that we're probably familiar with is Save As. When we're on Duplicate,
Duplicate Command Shift S.
you can hold down the Option key.
Save as ellipsis Command Shift Option S.
And Duplicate becomes Save As. If I lift up on the Option key.
Duplicate Command Shift S.
Or hold it down.
Save as ellipsis Command Shift Option S.
Learn this courtesy of Google searching. I love Google searching. You never know what you might find. So the next time we wouldn't even need to go to the menu. We could just press Command Shift Option S. But in order for the Save As to work, I need to hold down Option and then press Enter.
Save as ellipsis. In Dialog, save. Text edit demonstration period. RTF.
Oh wow, we're already close to the end. So next time we might have to finish off with spell check. So I'm going to, which I've had to do before. The main thing I wanted to show you, last time I showed you how to save using the sidebar and save using the Where pop-up button, but I want to show you another cool little trick.
Cancel, but new folder, but keep changes in original document unchecked. Checkbox.
I went to the very end of this dialog with VON.
Rich text document. File format :
So an advantage of Save As is you can choose a different file type. Let's say we wanted to make it docs. So I can down arrow.
Rich text document with a web page, web archived, open document text, Word 2007, left parenthesis period, docs right parenthesis.
Actually, I want to make it doc because files are more compatible. When you work on a file in Windows and then you open it in TextEdit, doc is going to be the most compatible, meaning it will save your changes and preserve your formatting.
Word 2003, left parenthesis, Word 97, left parenthesis period, doc right parenthesis, document.
And I'll press Enter.
Word 97.
All right, now I'm going to VO left so we can get
column
back
view,
to
browser 1 item selected. Text edit demonstrate.
All right, so one thing, if you don't want to bother with the sidebar, let's say you want to save to
Notes
documents.
group.
Oops, I'm sorry. You can do Command Shift O.
List.
If you want to save to iCloud, you could do Command Shift I.
List.
If you wanted to save to your downloads, you could simply type Command Option L.
Empty list.
And that's saying empty because my downloads folder is empty. To check that that's actually where you're saving this,
Vertical splitter sidebar
we
table.
just have to go
Downloads,
to
comma, move image.
All right, so that's showing in the sidebar, and there you go. So you could have selected that, but it's just another way of saving. I'm going to probably delete this from my downloads. Actually,
Vertical split column view, browser.
let's actually go. I'm back in my browser. I'm going to choose iCloud with Command Shift I.
List.
And now I'm going to type T.
Text edit group.
And right arrow. Actually,
Twitterific. Text edit group.
I don't think we need to right arrow. I forget that we can be on the file folder or the folder, and then it'll just save into that. So then I can press Enter.
Edit text insertion at beginning of text. Text edit demonstration.
And the document is saved.
Under.
So
Zoom
next
period,
time
us.
I will show you spell check. That
Zoom
will only take
period,
like 10, 15
us.
minutes. Probably only 10.
You are sharing.
But I just want to see
Stop
if
share
anyone
button.
has questions
Mute all
right
checked.
now, because I covered quite a
You are
bit. So if
sharing
anyone has
computers.
questions, go ahead and ask.
This is Rita.
Yeah, Rita.
How do you navigate by chunks of when you're reading in a text edit document?
Mm-hmm.
VO command, command down arrow is the end, command up arrow is the top. How do you navigate a VOP by paragraph?
Yeah, so I just press down arrow to move down a line at a time.
How about page at a time? Like say you've got a 20-page
Yeah.
document. How do you do page at a time?
I always forget. That's why I never like to read documents on, because it's not that easy. You try to do page down. I think you have to do like shift page down or shift. It's something kind of weird. I'll look it up again and let you know. I need to do more
I'm
reading on
struggling
it.
through moving chunk, but the VOP is handy. That'll move.
Well,
a
that
chunk.
reads the current paragraph, but VO command page down moves to the next sentence. VO shift page down moves to the next paragraph.
Leo, shift page down. Leo, shift page. Okay, okay. All right.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
This is Nancy,
Yes,
and
Nancy.
this might be a little not applicable to everyone. So if you want me to wait,
No, go
I'm
ahead.
curious about when I have documents on my U2 and I want to share them as an attachment. Are you saying it's better to change it to a DOC or an RTF? I'm confused about that.
Either one is fine. You said documents. So doc or RTF, if you want to open the files on the Mac, then doc or RTF is probably better. If you want to use TextEdit, rather. So if you want to open the files in TextEdit on the Mac, doc or RTF. TextEdit opens docs though, but you might lose some of the formatting. It depends on, how much formatting you want to retain, if you've formatted your documents and so forth.
So if I've got a bunch of TXT documents,
Oh, that'll be fine.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yes, because that's plain text. And TextEdit handles both the plain text documents and TXT is universal. It will open in any app. That's fine.
Okay.
I mean, not any app, but it works across systems.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
This is Dorothy.
Hi, Dorothy.
Hi. I have several questions, but
Sure.
if you are using the RTF,
Mm-hmm.
but you're attaching a document and emailing it to someone who uses Windows,
Mm-hmm.
they never seem to be able to open the RTF. And I was told
Okay.
sometimes it depends on how old their version of Microsoft or Windows is.
Ah.
So
They
I have
should
to
be able to
convert
open
it.
that.
I have to
Yeah.
export it to the docs in order
Okay.
to attach it. So I end up with duplicate documents.
Ah.
Yeah.
And so your question is how to avoid that, or just
Right. If you know you're dealing with people and they can't open the RTF, then only option I have is to export it.
Well, yeah.
to
So when you
doc.
go into the save dialog or save as, depending on, you can choose the file type. So if you are creating the file and right away you're going to be sending it to somebody, you can just go into save and choose doc or docs or whatever works for them. If you've already have an RTF file and you need to save it to a different format after the fact, then you just go to save as or hold down the option key on duplicate. And then you can choose a file format.
Okay. And I have another question. So is there a certain way to close out without it saving a second and a third and a fourth time instead of just just going to the up at the top and closing out that way? Do I need to go through the menu the menu bar and then actually go over to pages or text edit and close it out that way?
Well, you can do Command W to close a window, and every document opens in its own window. And if you don't want it to save your changes, I think you actually go into system preference, or if you want it to prompt you before saving changes, you can set that up in system preferences and general. So I'm not quite sure if I'm getting at what you're asking.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is if I pull up a document and I'm going in to change, let's say maybe I sent it to one person and I need to go in and send it that same to someone else, just change the names. What is the best way to save it and you don't really want it to, you know, be a second document. You want it, well, I guess
Oh,
if you don't save it, it will go back to what the original document is.
well, if you're in the Finder and you have the file and you want to give it a different name, then you could just press enter to rename it. And so it would, I don't know if that's what you're thinking of.
No, I'm just wondering why my documents are duplicating. And so I'm getting copied in 2, 3, 4, 5, and I
Oh,
have to go
probably
in and
because
find.
yeah, well, if probably because you're going to duplicate
Mm-hmm.
rather than save as.
Yeah.
That could be.
Okay.
Chanel, this is Rosanna.
Yeah, Rosanna.
Actually, I have a question too, and I think I could answer part of
Sure.
Dorothy's question. I think you're right. I think she might be duplicating the file, but um, if I understand what she was asking, once you create a file, if you want to send it to more than one person, you should, if you have only one file, you should be able to just access that one file and resend it,
Yep.
and then just put that new person's name in the email field.
Yeah. And we'll talk about attaching files to email next time because all you really do is copy it from the Finder and then paste it into the email. It's the sending attachments on the Mac is super easy. I love it.
I'm glad you said that because that was one of my questions.
Okay.
Um,
And we'll be getting to that next week.
yeah, I was having some issues with that with, okay, I have this file, I gotta send it. Like, okay, how am I gonna send this file?
Right.
So I'm glad you're gonna go over that because that was some issues I had.
Yep.
I also had it's not a question, it's something that came up this week in TextEdit.
Okay.
All of a sudden I was doing a document in TextEdit and I went back to it and all of a sudden some crazy formatting came up like bulleting and something, and I'm like, but I never put it in there. And I'm like, okay, I figured out how to get rid of it, and then it came back again. So like,
Oh, weird.
yeah, it's very weird. Is there a reason why it would just change by itself? Does it have something to do with Big Sur?
I don't know if you've opened it in different programs or did you only
No,
work on it in text?
I
Okay.
was only working in TextEdit. That's why I thought it was bizarre.
All right. Herbie, I know you've been working in TextEdit quite a bit recently. Or Nancy or Sonia or anybody, has anybody had this experience?
I'm just starting. This is Nancy. I'm just starting to learn how to
Okay.
format edit. So
What exactly? I'm still confused as to what the problem is.
She acts somehow there's like lists or weird formatting in her document and then, she removes it, but then it comes back.
Yeah, it came back a second time, just out of nowhere.
oh, this is Nancy. I have one thought. This used to happen to me
Okay.
on the PC, and that might be different, but like if I was trying to number something, then it would think it knew, or if I was trying to do an outline or something, it thought it knew what I wanted, and that used to drive me crazy. It's like, no, let me number and alphabetize my sentence.
I know. I don't think TextEdit does that. Word definitely does. I
Word
think
does it.
Pages
It
does.
doesn't read it when Word does it, which is a pity because that actually I find that feature can also be useful.
But if you're using something other than TextEdit, but you said you are, then the more fancy word processing programs will try to do that stuff. And yeah, I have to
Are
turn it
you
off
sure
too.
you're not pressing like any extraneous keys? Because there's definitely built-in commands to TextEdit and whatnot. So are you sure you're not pressing any extra keys that is?
No, it was, Herbie, it was weird because I left, like I told Chanel, I left it alone, came back to it the next day, and I went to hit enter to go to a new line, and then all of a sudden it said bullet something, and I'm like, oh, wait
Weird.
a minute, I didn't put that in there. And I couldn't figure out for the life of me how to get out of that. I finally realized I had to back out and go into toolbar and then I had to go back in there, and then it gave me the option of none, and I then checked the box of none, and it
Mm-hmm.
worked.
I
The
wonder
next
if
time.
just because if you left the document open, it's always possible that somebody or an animal, if you have any pets,
Yeah,
would
I got
press
one of
a
those.
key or two while you were not in front of the computer. So one piece of advice is I would say don't leave your document open when you're going to leave it for a long period of time. Just save it. You can close it out and come
Save
back
it and
to
close
it.
it out. Okay.
That's
One
my
thing you can
recommendation.
always do is make use the make plain text command, and that's if you go into the format menu in the menu bar. I want to say it's Command Shift T, but I'm better off advising you to go to the format menu, and then you could make sure you select the whole document. Or actually, I don't even know if that's necessary, but you can make it plain text, and then I think that would get rid of the bullets and so
I think
forth. You
so too.
you still
Yeah.
might have a bunch of extra spaces. That would be the only thing, but it would at least get rid of the bullets.
Bullets. Okay. Yeah. I'm like, I thought I got to ask Chanel this one. I don't know.
Yeah, Rita, you were going to say something?
Are you importing this text from somewhere else?
No, it was a stationary text file, actually in TextEdit itself. So I wasn't changing it. I wasn't sending it anywhere.
You created this document. You didn't import text from
No.
somewhere else, like the internet or.
It was totally a brand new document.
Yeah,
And it was a brand new document. So I'm like, well, okay, where is this going? So and I'm just learning and playing around with it now. So I'm just doing very small documents to try to learn more how to work with it so that I can be more proficient in it, because eventually I'd like to move over and get away from my PC and start to do most of my work on my Mac. That's my goal.
Definitely.
Yeah, well, my Mac is a whole lot faster. This computer, my PC is like 6 years old and
Oh,
slow
wow.
as
Okay.
molasses.
Right. All right. Well, I hope some of that helps. Are there any other questions? Let's see. Well,
No, but can
March
I pat
2nd, 8,
myself on the
16
back?
p.m.
huh?
I said no, but can I pat myself on the back?
Absolutely.
Okay, because I've been confused, but I am learning.
Excellent.
And so yesterday I filled out two documents that they're like volunteer, and they have form fields and the little selections, and I was able to do two of them, and you just using voiceover.
Yay. Great
So
job.
I did it now. I may not know an alternate way, but I got through it and it was pretty easy. But
Good.
then when I went somewhere else and tried to fill in something that it wouldn't do the same key. So I was like, okay, I don't know what's going on, but
it could be too that just some forms are more accessible than others. That's part of the problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Big problem.
Yep.
Okay.
Same thing on the PC, even with,
It is.
with JAWS. There are some
Yep.
websites that I've found they're just plain not accessible.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yep, and that's why it's good to know both, lots of different ways, because that way, one doesn't work
One
with
doesn't
one
work, use
screener.
the other. Yep.
Yeah, screen reader, try the other. Yeah.
Text
Well,
edit.
there are some things that work
Finder.
better
Zoom
on the
period.
Mac, like mail definitely
Yes.
works better on the Mac than on the PC for sure.
Definitely. Absolutely.
VoiceOver works a lot better in certain things on the Mac, but far better than JAWS. So I like using both.
Yeah, definitely. Me too. All right. Well, thanks everyone. And next week we'll have finish up TextEdit. We'll start mail, and then the following week we'll do mail part 2 and your questions.
Yay.
And yep. So
are you
there we
going to
go.
do calendar also?
I don't think we have time for it in this class. I will send out, see if I can find it. I did a little bit of a calendar demonstration on YouTube
Cool.
this last fall. So I will send that link.
Yeah, I'm having some issues with that.
Okay.
And,
this is
Someone told me that you
and
can save Zoom links in your calendar and go back in there and click on those links on the date, and then it will take you into your Zoom room. But I have not been able to figure out how to
I
do it.
don't use the calendar for that. I honestly have the links saved, or I just know I don't use the calendar. But yeah, Nancy, go ahead.
I
Or
was just
were-
gonna say, I am starting to really love that. I have been able to get that, and there's also Chanel's got a demo, and there's a really good demo by Alex Hall in AppleVis. And he does a really good job. And so I've been doing that, and I've even been able to invite people to my account for a
That's
Zoom
what I'm
room.
trying to figure out
Yay.
how to do.
Okay, well then start with
Yeah.
that. And these are excellent topics for Mac and Talk, or this whole thing is how do you because we need to do more practical, well, people have a wide range of questions, but this practical day-to-day stuff, so definitely come to Mac and Talk, please, and you can ask, and I'm sure the answer will benefit lots of people, me included. So
Chanel, where do you save your links? Like your Zoom links? Do you have a folder that you save them
I
in?
do. That or I just have iBugs memorized, except on my phone. I do have it either as a contact or I have saved it to my homepage. So you can yeah. But and for most of my links, I just access a folder and then whatever platform I'm using, they're accessible and
You
I
could
can
do it
press.
in,
Yep.
so you can just create a folder in Finder and
Yeah, I just have like a Zoom folder in my
right.
Dropbox Zoom meetings. Yep.
Okay.
I have all my links in there.
Awesome sauce. Okay.
Yep.
I'm trying to find an easy way to do this.
Yeah. Although sometimes I've learned the hard way, they're not always importable. If you create something on the Mac, it's not going to work on the PC. But if you create something
Yeah.
on the PC, it will work on both
That
for those
happened to me.
links. So
I
know
tried
we're
to
getting,
import it and it didn't work.
yeah, we're getting kind of far afield from this subject today. But please come and bring this stuff up at Mac and Talk. I think that would be a really great discussion.
I will. But
All right. Well, great. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Chanel.
Okay. Thank you.
Chanel. You're
All right.
awesome.
Thank you.
Great.
Yep.
Thank you
Bye.
so much.
Bye.
Good
I
night,
really look
everybody.
forward to coming. It's like
Oh,
it's
thank
like
you.
it's so exciting and meeting everybody, and I really look forward to seeing everybody every week. I'm gonna miss
Yep.
it.
Yeah. Well, always come to the Mac and Talks, and who knows, maybe people want to get together outside of that. I don't know, but
Yeah, why not?
not for an iBug event, but we always have the list, and there's lots of other places offer training, so I'm not going to mention those names specifically, but there's lots of places out there to get help now, fortunately.
Yeah, there
So.
is. There is.
All right.
But I
Well,
like
thanks.
you the best.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Well,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Good night, Chanel.
Good
Be
night.
safe.
Okay. Good night.
Good night.